Oh, yeah, I think I did it. Yes, we're starting now. Hi. Yeah,
Hello.
I'm really, I'm really happy that I talked to you because I'm a psychologist, in Poland, and I do cinema therapy. And I talk with one psychologist already about your movie, and I think Sundown is like the best picture to show that you have to take care of your needs sooner than later, And I'm just wondering what topic, because this movie is so open and good for the cinema therapy. That's why it's so open. I mean, because you can project yourself, your emotions, and everything on the screen. But I wonder, what is the most important for you here? What topic?
It's very hard to say to answer in a simple way because the movie it's got an existentialist tone.
Yeah.
So the movie is talking about trying it's not answering any questions, but it's asking all the big questions of life. The meaning of life, our place in the world. Um, yeah, so it's it's one of those movies that it's about everything and about nothing about the same time, about uh, love and family and about freedom. I think the most important question the movie asks is whether we are free to make our own decisions about how we want to spend our life. And for good or bad, society will never, and family will never let us be free.
Yeah.
This has a love side to it, but also a non-freedom side to it.
Yeah, for me, it's a really, really important topic of the midlife crisis, midlife crisis. I wrote a book with a really famous psychotherapist in Poland. He worked with men, and he just talk about the problems all the time. It's really interesting. And I think when we see midlife crisis, it's always like ironic smile, that somebody has got a younger girl, the bike, nice car, changing his life, and etc. But the most important is that you cannot tell to somebody take care about your family and don't think about stupid things. What a fool, person. But you have to take care of your needs that you put aside for a long time. This is a really important, and uh, we cannot say it's selfish. I would like change this picture, and I think with your movie it is possible.
I think men fantasize about all those things, especially in a midlife crisis. My life would be fantastic if I go away from my wife, from my family, if I'm free. And it's at the end, it's a little bit of a silly fantasy because it doesn't correspond to reality. You might think you're breaking free, but you might be running away from yourself or from the actual important things in life. And women are a little more or a lot more clever in that way. I think women can foresee what a disaster things could be if you try to break free in a childish way. And Sundown seems to be that, seems to be the fantasy of Tim. And sometimes when men are watching the film, the first half of it, men are celebrating what this guy is apparently doing. And then, of course, the movie shows a different side, and there's a twist that we're not gonna talk about. But then, of course, it's a different movie, which is much closer to life than to the fantasy, I guess.
I'm not quite sure about this. Is it always so bad to have this younger girl and change your life. I mean, I'm 38, so I'm about midlife crisis, like in a woman way. And I when I watch it, I thought, oh, I would like to, run away, go to the beach, to the sun, and maybe start a new life. So it's good that you are telling that women are smarter. But anyway, I'm really interested about you because you wrote the script in a midlife crisis. I mean, you talk about it, about your 40, when you were 40, yeah, or something like that. So
Yes.
can you tell me more about this picture of your feelings, your problems, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was approaching 40 and I started asking myself if I was living the life I wanted to live. Am I making the best use of my time? And I guess for the first time, I thought of how limited our time is, because when you're young, we all know death is the end of it, of course. Even a kid knows it. But it's very different to know it than to feel it. And I think when you fall into a midlife crisis, you start seeing the end of the tunnel, hopefully very far away. But it's not only the knowledge, it's seeing the end of the tunnel, it's knowing that that's where you're headed. And then it's frightening, and it's not such a philosophical thing anymore, or an attitude. It's reality. You simply know that you gotta make the best use of your time while you're here. But how do you answer that? So then you ask yourself many questions, and that confronts you, and you realize that you are who you are, and this is it. This is life, for good or bad. In my case, at the end, it was for good. I made the film, and this helped me to pull myself out of this midlife crisis. And now I'm happier than when I wrote Sundown. I was really depressed at the time. I was in a big crisis, which is very healthy. I think it's good to go through a crisis and to face it, and not to be evasive about it. It's good to face it. Yeah, and you never know. It's tricky with the crisis. You never know when it's gonna come back.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really happy that you're telling this because I just wonder how it could help you, this process. Did you touch what do you really need? Did you touch other emotions? How it was in a way catharsis, how it was therapeutic for you?
Well, it was a very rational thing to write the movie. The idea, the logic behind the movie, that's very rational. But at the same time, the beautiful thing about film is that the best movies are not only rational. You as a director, I'm able to express and to explore through sound and images in a more abstract way. It's also very nice that I get the opportunity to make it with collaborators, especially the actors. In this case, Charlotte Gainsbourg and Tim Roth. So that's great, because I share my fears, my love, my questions, with these actors, and together we find not the answers, because there's never an exact answer, but at least you feel better after discussing it, and especially after creating something with that material.
But you don't have to have these answers, but maybe you learn something new about you, because for me, the biggest cinema therapy of watching the movie or doing also is when I see a movie and I just look into, my heart, into my soul,
Yeah.
and get to know something I didn't know.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you in words I learned this or I learned that, but I can definitely say that I found some peace. I feel more more peaceful, in less of a conflict. I guess what I learned is to accept certain things that have to do with being starting the second half of my life again, hopefully, because living up to 80 or something like that is not bad. So it is a midlife crisis, and you understand how the second half is possibly looking like. uh, if you see it from a dark perspective, it sounds depressing. But if you accept it, which is all we can do, and you decide to do it, in the best way, then why not? It's not depressing. It's very positive.
Yeah, but can you tell me, like, what is the good way to live this and to accept it? Because I'm a little bit younger, and maybe people who watch us and read us will be younger also. And can you, I mean, you tell, or your hero from this movie, what he could tell to everybody, about this being in midlife crisis, in this lack of sense, um, what?
Well, the problem with my character, or with the journey of the character, is that there's a conflict, because on one hand he should communicate better what he's going through, and that normally that is the best advice: communicate. But at the same time, what is tricky is that if he's open about why he's doing what he's doing, he would lose his freedom to decide how to live. And that is why he starts lying at the beginning of the film. We won't explain how, but to the audience, because for everyone who hasn't seen the film, this should be something that they discover. But he starts lying, but not in a harmful way. So it's tricky, because normally in life you say you should communicate, you should be open, but it's not. Sometimes it's not so easy, because if you say openly what you're going through, people won't let you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So again, there's some sort of proof that we're never truly free, and that is, that's human beings are made to live in society. So it's good not to be entirely free and to be with loved people. But the thing about love is that there's no contract that is simple. Like, you can love me with certain boundaries. There's no boundaries. So sometimes that takes away your freedom.
And you can be totally free in one way. I don't know if you have seen Corsage with Vicky Clips, this movie.
Not yet. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Just do it, because it's like really really similar topic, but the main character is a woman. But okay, so let's go back. One question, and we will come back to the movie. What about therapy? Because I'm psychologist. Did you try in this process of making movie, or before or after, like a normal therapy? I don't know, does it help you somehow?
I think therapy is a great idea because it's always useful and helpful to talk. Myself, I've never been to therapy. I guess I use my writing, the making of movies, as some sort of therapeutic work or process, because I'm constantly writing about personal inner conflicts, my fears, my desires, the kind of material that one would use in therapy. And I do it, I make movies with that. So in a way, that's my therapy, I think.
But for me, it's interesting that emotions that you use here, it's like totally different, because, for example, in New Order, you have a strong negative emotions, like, it's like good manipulations, even, because I feel what you want me to feel. And in this movie, this is really totally different, because you touch the nuanced emotions. And something kind of new, because I wanted to ask you, do you need to feel something? Do you need to hit strong, to feel like strong, something strong, to feel something? Do you have something like that?
I like strong feelings, of course. I like, and definitely when I'm deciding what movie to write, I most feel passionate and strongly about it. Otherwise, it's hard to pull myself through the process of writing and shooting a film, because it takes years.
Yeah.
From the moment I say, "Oh, that could be an idea for a film," up until you watch it on cinema, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years might go by,
Yeah.
for an idea. There's the seed, and then it takes years for it to finally arrive. So unless I'm very sure of what that seed is, it's not gonna grow. It's gonna die in the process.
Okay, but so let's go back to this character of your movie, because you were telling that he is uh I feel that he doesn't know his needs. I mean, you're telling that he knows something, but when I'm watching him, I feel that he's close to his emotions, needs, and body. Like this scene when Charlotte is coming on the beach and she said, "Why we're not answering?
Mhm.
What's wrong?" And he was saying like, "I'm sorry." Yeah, like totally without the emotion. This is really interesting for me. How do you think?
Because if he opens the real emotions, if he shows her everything, then it's like a black hole. It's going to swallow her, and it's gonna keep her on his side, and that's not the tragedy of this movie is that he loves Charlotte and he loves the kids, and by trying to protect them, he makes a lot of harm to them.
Yeah,
So sometimes in life, you end up harming the ones you love the most by trying to protect them.
yeah,
Uh, and again, that's very tricky. It's, I mean, you know many stories more than me because of your work. Uh, um, it's never too simple. Even if you mean the best for the ones you love, sometimes you end up destroying them.
yeah. But this is also really interesting, that this idea of keeping away, to protect them, to protect the family, that you keep away from them to be cool with you, and then you can start be cool to the family. This is the concept. It's like cutting this umbilical cord, because this is his family. Charlotte is his family. It's like okay, when you're a man and you're a guy, you have to cut this umbilical cord with your mother, with your father, with your family, and being autonomic. Yeah. So I understand that he loves her and their children, but he can have his own life. It's like different situation than she would be her. I mean, she will be his wife. It's like totally different situation.
Yes, and it's always impossible to predict what the other part is how they're gonna to react. Uh, if there were rules, if it was predictable, we would never be in so much drama and misunderstandings. And uh, if it was as simple as just doing right and communicating and understanding with others, then life would be without conflicts. But it's never so that easy.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, what did you thought about this midlife crisis before, when you didn't touch it, and because you mix here tropes. This is really cool. To gain us an empathy for this character, because we can say, "Oh, what a fool, what he's doing," but you're switching, mixing this, that we can gain this empathy, and maybe you wanted to gain empathy also for yourself, in this situation.
Yeah, but before I fell myself into this crisis, I guess I would have laughed a little bit about such a crisis. I mean, I I already had been asking myself those questions, and I already thought about, death and the meaning of life and all that. But it's very different to feel it than to just think about it. I
Yeah.
think that's the big difference. You become humble after going through some sort of crisis, confusing moments, depression. Uh, you become humble. You understand more. But I think that's the process of growing up in life. You understand more, and you try to remain yourself in that process, or find more about yourself.
I'm just also interested in the people reactions because this movie is so open that we can see everything, and this is like the best movie for the cinematherapy. That's why you can come as a me inside and just telling you that this is about this and that, and I'm really interested what the people said, what the interpretations you have heard about this.
I heard a lot of comparisons to like books like The Stranger from Camus, and that it's a book that it's a classic that where people are always wondering why the character does what it does, which is very strange. But at the end, you say, even if I cannot fully understand him, I relate to him. I feel like him. I think at the end, everybody understands my character, and has been in his place to a certain extent. Also, people find it, again, the reactions from men and women are very different, and I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
Women are more sophisticated about it, more, they see the big picture. Men are usually just saying, oh yeah, I want to fall in love with a young woman and stay in the beach, like as
Yeah.
a fantasy.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, if it gives you, why it's so stupid? Why it's not? Why it's
No, it's not stupid. It's not, actually, in the movie he truly falls in love, and that's beautiful. It's not stupid. It's just complicated. It's not such an easy outcome. It's it comes with a lot of problems. It's not love is never too simple, and that's why it's worth it. But if you have that romantic, easy approach about things, you might say, why not? It's simple and that's it. But normally we are very complex. Human beings are very complex.
yeah. But can you tell me, like Michel, what would you do before the sun goes down? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I I mean, first of all, we're already doing that because we're that I think that's what a midlife crisis is about, to say how, this is it, this is where I'm at. What I do is to make movies, like
yeah,
one after the other. I'm always writing or shooting a movie because for me that's the way to try to find a meaning for life, or at least to stop thinking about it and to be able to enjoy it, and uh, to live within fictional worlds that I create. If I make one movie every year, then I'm sort of living in that uh, uh, you know fictional world that I'm exploring, that I'm creating. uh, I don't know if that's brave, because it's like I will like evading the real life, but then again, people who like playing golf, or people who play an instrument, they're also doing that. I think, like Bukowski said, find what you love and let it kill you.
yeah. That's good point for the end. But anyway, I just want to ask you also for the finito. I heard that you are going to shoot something in Warsaw, or you're searching something to shoot the next movie in Warsaw, isn't it? Or you know,
I've been going a lot to Poland in the last 2 years, yeah, I'm doing a little bit of research to make something, some sort of documentary, but I still don't know what it is. I'm asking other questions over there, but I'm still, in the process of finding out what it is.
So you won't tell me, I mean, what topic is interesting for somebody who just touched the midlife crisis and the masculinity and, this really sense of life. I'm really wondering what is interesting for you now,
I would say it's closer to New Order somehow. That's all I can say to that other movie.
Yeah. Okay, so it will be like hit. Okay, so if we have a 2 minutes even, so I just also want to ask you, how do you think, as a Michel Franco, older than me, being a man, what is, I don't even know if you've thought about it, but what is the big like challenges to mature masculinity, like being mature men?
My challenges or my
What is like the biggest challenge nowadays for the mature men,
I think my biggest challenge is how to find a balance between my work and my life, or to understand if I should keep trying to find a balance and have a line, between those two things, the private life, I mean my life and work, or just let work overcome my whole life, which is what actually happens, and just be at ease with it. And I'm happy with my work, so maybe that's okay. But when I was younger, I remember I thought, by the time I'll be 45, I'll probably have, like a family, and I don't know what I was imagining, some sort of magazine,
Yeah.
the picture you see in a magazine or something, and it's never like that, you think you're, yeah, that's just an image, that's not real life. So yeah, so I'm trying to find that balance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so you are kind of different than your previous image from when you were younger. I mean,
yeah, because when you're young, you're just, imagining things that don't make much sense, and then there's real life, and you find what you really need, not what you thought you wanted.
Yeah. So this is like the best and the biggest information. What's important, that take care of your needs and know what do you want. I mean, this is like the biggest thing for me about your movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so thank you. Ciao. I see that I have to put it down now because my actual version is finito. And so thank you, Michel, and have a good
Thank you.
day.
Dziękuję.
Hopefully
Bye-bye.
I will see you like in personally,
Yeah.
not like here. So bye.
See you again. Bye-bye.